You're listening to the Did You Hear Show.
Yo, morning, folks.
With your host, Jason Garvey.
Getting nervous.
Yo, what's happening, folks? Welcome to another episode of the Did You Hear Show. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Jason Farrell. Jay, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Yeah?
Good to be back.
Fresh trim?
Fresh trim, yeah.
Feel good?
Looks alright on that telly, doesn't it? Actually, no, it's a bit of a dodgy angle.
It's good to have you back, Sick, no?
Thank you.
It's good to have you back,
You kept the seat warm and you held down the fort. Fair play to you.
He done well, didn't he?
He was fantastic. I'm
He
not
was.
going to lie.
He's a black belt.
He has it in him, though. Do you know what I mean? We've been saying it for weeks. Like, it should be on the desk.
That's why we don't have him excluded over there. We have Martin on the decks. Martin, what's happening, brother?
Not a whole lot, my friend. Yourselves?
All good?
All good. All good after a little adventure this morning.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was fun.
We'll jump straight into it
We
then, will
were
we?
famous.
We'll talk about that, yeah.
Yeah,
famous.
we'll talk about that. in
We
a
had an
second,
adventure
yeah.
before that adventure as well, Jay.
Yeah, actually, I forgot about that, yeah. There's a few adventures
You
today.
may as well dive in. Start from the beginning of the morning to where we end up going. You know what I mean?
I will, but I want to introduce the guest first because it's part of the story.
It was a segue, though.
I know what you mean.
I see what you were doing there.
Yeah.
I've seen that,
He
yeah.
doesn't get that. do you know what I
It's the lack of chemistry that we have that people like.
Listen,
That's a good.
today's guest is a mother yoga instructor, a podcast master at this stage, I'd say. Ladies and gentlemen, the woman herself, Miss Yoga Jen. How's things? Yin Yoga
Yeah, I
Jen.
was going to say that
See,
there. It's Yin Yoga Jen.
Nervous he is. He's
Are you
nervous.
nervous?
I'm sweating. Absolutely.
He's all
sweating.
zen from this morning.
Yeah,
And did he say yoga?
I'm still asleep. What?
Did you say yoga?
Yin
No.
yogurt. He said
Did
yin
he?
yogurt.
Yeah, I think you did.
Did I?
Yeah.
Marble mouth.
I'm just starving. Jen, how are you?
I'm good. I feel like we've had a good day.
Yeah, we had a great day.
Yeah.
Well, speak for yourself. Ours went a little bit sour. So, Jay, I'll let you take over since you wanted to touch on it. Tell us what happened today. Well, what was the plan of action?
So the plan, obviously, we were going to do a yoga class with Jen.
Yeah.
And obviously on our travels, we're heading down the motorway. And you mentioned that we're being followed.
I'm going to take this
So
out just
I-
because people don't want to hear me chewing.
Good start, yeah. So I turn around, obviously give the dodgy look where I'm like, right, who the fuck's following us? I'm scared of following us, isn't it? My hand goes to take a picture of them and then all of a sudden, he pull us over.
I nearly thought that was like the most stupidest thing you could do.
I wanted people to know that I was going to put up on it and just say, like, they are after following us across the M50 and we're just going to yoga.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
what
what
the
it
fuck
was.
is going on?
And that's
Will
how
you
the
leave us alone?
conversation went down.
And that's what I was thinking. I'll get a little sneaky picture and that'll make a funny story. So that's what I was doing there.
But that's what it was, because there's three lads in the car and we're all like, I'm wearing black. He's majority in black shorts, black
three
body
yoga
warm
mats.
and all.
Pretty yoga mats,
That
yeah.
was like
Brand spanking, by the way.
Yeah.
Brand new.
We had to take them out of plastic beforehand so you didn't think less of us.
we were in the car and all of a sudden they come up and they're like, right, names and all. Where are you from? Clondalkin. What you doing in Clondalkin? This, that. Why you coming over here? Going to yoga. All right, yeah. You're like,
The
right.
faces just dropped when he said that.
License, insurance, blah blah blah. Your name,
Oh, they
name,
did the
your
full
name.
drill?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Ah,
Absolutely.
stop. You should have just
Yeah.
whipped out the map.
Yeah.
And they were like, but we mentioned, oh no, it's because we have a guest coming on the podcast and all. That kind of won it over for Jay. To be fair.
yeah.
Jay handled himself very well.
Yeah, because Martin was being a smart little fuck and I was like, Martin, give it a
You're
fuck
like,
off.
only-
No
you're like,
point.
I know, you never going to win.
No,
So they
that's
asked-
a complete exaggeration. They asked me my name and I told them.
no, it was what it was.
He went like
said
this.
to Jay, Martin Murray.
With the camera out.
Yeah, I was trying to record them on the live.
Stop. It was just a pure knacker thing to do
Oh,
because
shut
if it was you driving, it'd be a different story.
Nice hat, bro.
Thanks, pal. Oh, stop. But then we actually went to Mace. What did we get, lads? A healthy breakfast, was it?
Little energy boost and jam
bonds
bon.
or something.
Yeah.
How'd you know that?
Jay got a bag of
She
sausages.
went in afterwards. What were them boys doing here? Yeah,
Me and Martin got a jam bon each just to set us in for the meal. And
Jay got a bag of sausages.
Jay gets a bag of sausages.
I got 3 sausages and.
What were they in, Jay?
What do you mean?
What were the sausages in? What did they give them to you in?
Yeah, I know, but when you say a bag of sausages, you think about.
They gave it to you in a bag, mate. It's a bag of
You know what I mean?
sausages.
I'm trying to find this woman. Yeah, but when we went in, we were greeted by a woman who watched the show. Elaine is her name. She was saying, wasn't she?
Hang on.
Elaine.
How are you, Elaine?
How are you, Elaine?
Shout out.
We make sure to drop in again, get a picture with you next time. Maybe, Jay, we're sure you just wanted to get in and out, didn't you,
We
Jay?
just wanted this
Wait,
bag of
Do
sausages.
you know what? I wasn't used to feeling famous.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it was.
Is that how you felt, yeah?
Going over the fingers and
Give me me blue
tick.
tick.
You know what I mean? And for a good thing. Bit unusual, isn't it? Like,
Ah, stop. Anyway, lads, we'll jump back in. Jen, tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you and live under a rock. Tell us a little bit about you, what you do and stuff like that.
I'm teaching yoga now 3.5 years. I have a background in mental health, homelessness and addiction. I was in the services for 10 years, 11 years. And I left, moved into teaching yoga, and the last 3 years it just took off. It's really good, really busy at the minute. It's amazing. I've built up a great little community.
And you've done it pretty quick, haven't you?
I don't know. I feel like I've.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's nearly the same to everyone, isn't it? Like, you ever see that picture where the ice is in the water and there's a big fucking...
There's a load of walk underneath.
To the average Joe Soap, like, I seen you blow up just before you went on the Lads Talking Bollocks podcast. Yeah. And from then, you've just went from strength to strength to strength. How many followers are you on now?
16k, was it?
16,000, yeah.
Yeah, and what were you on around the time you went on their show?
The Lads, like about 5, 6, was it? I don't know, I can't remember.
It was in around that, I think, yeah. But even before that, like, you went from like 1k to 6k
it jumped
pretty quick. Yeah, you were just getting shared around like a mad thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Grand, it's all good. Fuck's sake.
Oh, jeez, I'm having a fucking storm tonight, and oh my God.
I wouldn't mind. This is the one guess where I was like, this is not gonna happen.
Don't fuck this one up.
Oh,
so you were getting shared around like a mad thing, and then
I was getting rallied around, and then
oh my God. No, look, your work was getting shared everywhere. You were obviously helping a lot of people, but going back to obviously the counselling side of things, how did you manage to get into that? Where did that all stem from?
Working in the services.
Yeah.
Let me see, when did I start? When I found out I was pregnant, like up until I was pregnant, like my life was just manic. It was mental. From 14 to 25, like, was just a blackout, just carnage, just like whatever. Do you know what I mean? And then when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, right, something has to change. And then I started to do counselling for myself. And I just always had these, just this fucking question in my head, like, what's wrong with me? Do you know what I mean? And off I went on a journey of discovering myself, and I ended up doing the counselling theory and addiction studies in UCD with Merchants Key.
Right. And
it's a 2-year course, which was absolutely brilliant. That just opened me up to all different types of learning, and it was mad because going from just carnage and being kicked out of school and kicked out of home, in 2 years of college, I never missed one day.
Right.
I loved it.
So how did you go from, like, being, let's say, that type of person to then being so driven and motivated by school? Like, did you just feel you needed to get out of where you were before?
No, I had a baby, and I was determined with every bleeding part of me that she just wasn't going to have that life I lived.
Was it a case of making you grow? Sorry if I couldn't cross you. Was it a case of like, this is going to make me grow up, or just in general get some shit together?
Oh, the minute the doctor told me you're pregnant, that was it. Right, things are going to change. I don't know how I'm going to do it because I was a wreck. But
how old were you when you had it?
25 when I had Mia.
Right. 25.
Just going on 26 when I had her.
Right.
And I had no emotional skills whatsoever. I was... As soon as I had her, I got really bad postnatal depression. So that was horrific for the first 2 years. Like, my mind was gone. The day I had her, a couple of hours later, my mind just went. Right. And I've been on a journey, I suppose, even still today. I'm still healing, I'm still recovering, I'm still learning. And that's the way I just look at life, is what else is there I can learn about? What else is out there? Like, I have just a real inquisitive mind. And I love when I meet someone that knows something that I don't know, or like I nearly suck the knowledge. Like, what? How did you know that? Where did you get that? And I just think it's amazing when you go from having such a closed mind to not understanding life.
Yeah.
Your mind just blown open and you're fascinated with everything and you learn to just see things a different way.
Do you remember the time that clicked for you? Because like you can be in a state of mind where you're just not absorbing any knowledge or information or wanting to learn about it. And then all of a sudden that changes. Now I know like having a child will do that to you as well, but was there a specific moment like or time of day around that you can remember where you're just like, you know, you need this, you need to take in?
It wasn't a time of day. I went into a 12-step program.
Right.
And the 12-step, the big book, it has changed my life. And although I'm not in fellowship anymore, I still live by the principles that I remember having a spiritual awakening due to the steps in the book, and that was it. That has categorically changed my life. I would not be here today without it. I couldn't have learned what I learned.
Yeah.
It just brought, it was meant to be. It brought it all together. And I always tell people, like, I can't explain what it's like to have an awakening. You have to go and have your own one. But this is what I done,
Yeah.
and this is what works for me. And if it resonates with you, like, stall it, come
Yeah.
on over.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And,
No,
and
that's
if it
brilliant.
doesn't work for you, something else will. Just keep finding your little way. Keep your mind open a little bit.
And how helpful have you been to others then? Like when did you first realise people were actually coming to you and seeking advice, you know, and that actually being a benefit, considering everything you've went through, you know, for you to be able to give back to others?
Yeah, so I think I've always had that. You know, I think when you grow up in such what's the word, like dysfunction, you know, you develop these kind of roles and you're always the caregiver, the fixer and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And I've been everything. And I just had this thing that I think because I've been so hurt and I've been so broken that when I see someone else that's in pain, like, oh, my heart, like I always wanted to run and save people. And then as I started to go through life and I started to really look at myself and my behaviours, I realised that I was quite an enabler and I would enable people. And that's the worst thing you can do for somebody. Like, if you're struggling, there's no point in me keep trying to fix you or sticking bandages on you because it's robbing you of your experience. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I keep trying. I used to be in these relationships and I would try and stop them fucking up their life and try and manage them as best I can. But
It's taken away from you then.
it's taken away from me. But it's very selfish because it's taken it away from them. Like,
You're trying to change somebody type of
sometimes,
thing.
yes, sometimes people have to go through painful experiences to
100%.
learn what the universe is trying to show them. And I tried to stop that for years in people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
People
but
need
not-
to make their own path though.
Not
don't
in a
they?
bad way.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was always coming from
Yeah, a
but
good place,
It
yeah.
was coming from a good place, but a lot of the time it was coming from a selfish need in me to fix people, because it filled my need of this lack that I had. Like, if I fix you, that makes me feel good, and if you need me, that makes me feel good.
Mm.
So it was a selfish thing, even though,
But does it start out as a selfish thing, Jen?
well, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know it's a selfish thing because you're still asleep.
Right.
Did you ever find yourself like forgetting about yourself and that?
My whole life.
Yeah.
Your whole life. And then you learn, like, you'll get hurt so much, and then when you start to do the work on yourself and people are around you who aren't doing the work, you learn your boundaries pretty fucking quick because you start to just see things like, well, I'm doing all this work on myself and you're over there doing fuck all. Like,
Yeah.
so there has to be an energy exchange. Like, if you want to keep, I suppose, keep moving forward in your life, it doesn't help if there's certain people around you that just keep trying to pull you down, you know, and you'll kind of levitate and gravitate towards different experiences
Yeah.
that you need.
Does it bother you when you see people who don't have that up and go in them, don't want to kind of do better, and they're just kind of complacent and?
No, it
Just a
doesn't.
bit of fluff in
It
there.
doesn't
thanks,
bother.
yeah.
It doesn't bother me. It kind of hurts me for them. That would make me really sad.
Yeah, nobody being able to see their potential in themselves or
Yeah,
something like that.
and I got that. Like, I worked in homelessness for so long, and Jesus Christ, like, you would just. It's very hard to explain. Like, my heart would be so wide open that when you're working with these people who, they've never been shown love.
Mhm.
They've never understand what an act of kindness is like.
You felt that as a kid as well, though, didn't you? You didn't like. I was listening to a couple of podcasts and obviously watched a few interviews that you've done and stuff like that. Like you were saying that you never really felt love as a kid, and I really resonated with that because
You've touched on that before, yeah.
I've said it umpteen times on this show that I've never understood love until I had a kid
Yeah.
because it was instant.
Mm.
And even now till this day, I'd still say it, like the only people I truly feel loved by is me 2 kids because they consistently
Yeah.
show me. Do you know what I mean? So I get completely where you're coming from there, and the people that are obviously homeless, like if you're homeless, that means it narrows down a lot of things. It means you're fucked out by your parents or you were acting the bollocks, and that's that love you need from your mother and father to be there unconditionally. Like my kid would never ever be homeless. Do you know what I mean? In my opinion, anyway. Like I could never see that happen. I'd never. So the fact that you're saying they feel that way as well makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also heard you saying, Jen, that you were with people kind of the last hours when they had alcohol problems and stuff like that. What was that like? Jesus Christ, I can't imagine what that was like.
Do you know what? In the lockdown, when the lockdown happened, it actually brought up a lot of PTSD in me, which I've been really struggling with the last 2 years, and I'm kind of doing a lot of work around it at the minute, and I'm getting all the memories back and the flashbacks, and the trauma is actually stored in my body at the minute, and I'm working on getting it out. I remember the doors of the shelter, the homeless shelter, opening one day, and they were like, the hospital, somebody rang, I would always be on the switchboard, and I would organise the beds for people in the city, and right, you're getting someone sent down to you. And I was like, right, okay. And I'm very, when they come in, I'd want to wrap them up, you know, and make them feel just welcome and have a little pack for them. And like, not everybody does that. Sometimes the door just opens and they're into this gaff with 80 men, and some people are on their meds, some people are off it, and it's a fucking daunting experience to walk in. So I remember when the ambulance pulled up and this man walked through the door, and Jesus Christ, he looked like a man from Auschwitz. That's what walked in the door. This was a man with terminal brain cancer.
Right.
And he was coming in basically to, this was the end of life for him. The hospital didn't want him, and he had mental health issues, but he wouldn't take any of his medication. He didn't trust him. And Patrick was his name. And a beautiful man, tiny little man with just a blanket wrapped around him. And we brought him in, and we got him settled, and the next few months was just so bizarre, because to watch someone so emaciated and to watch them not refuse any medication, any pain medication, and to listen to them crying out for their mammy, like at that age, it's quite disturbing. And I think, and I don't mean this in a fucking egotistical way, but there's something within me that I have that allows other people to feel safe. And for some reason, I was the only staff member, me and one other girl, I was the only staff member he'd let into his room. And I never made a big deal about it. I would just go in, all right, I just talk to people the way they talk. Patrick, what's the crack? I'm coming in. And he'd be just lying in the bed like a little bleeding, broken little man. And just to even just to go in and sit on the end of the bed with him, and he would just tell you little stories, like, and he'd always say, Jen, I'm going back to me mammy. He couldn't wait good to go back to heaven, to his mammy, like. And
how old was he roughly?
I say mid-50s,
Right.
maybe late 40s. Like, that's very
young, like.
young. That's
Very
very
young,
young.
yeah.
That's very young. And you have to understand that a lot, like the culture in Ireland, a lot of people who are probably street drinkers and drug addicts, and a lot of the homeless people, especially the older men, like, they've come from a difficult Ireland. You have to remember the stuff that happened with the churches, and like, this is the repercussions.
Yeah.
This is the repercussions down the
Yeah.
line. You know, so
The knock-on effect.
this is the knock-on effect. And you know, even our parents grew up in difficult situations where there was a lot of shame in the communities, you know, and you could see now why there was a disconnect with parents and their kids, because everyone's trying to do their best, but not everybody had an emotional understanding. You know?
Yeah.
I think obviously with social media now, I think you're held responsible for a lot more as well, though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you look back when we were kids, like, look, let's face it, we probably all got punched around, do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of our mothers and fathers would have been violent and stuff like that. And I just think people are held accountable now because of the lights of social media and things like that. And that's one of the positives from that. But back to Patrick, Jen, like, you have to be, like, very, like, you seem like a very emotional person, would I be right in saying that? Yeah.
I
So-
love a good whinge.
Yeah, so you'd have to be, like,
I'm
you,
I was
crying.
like, do we have tissues here? Like, John,
Yeah. well, looking at your eyes makes my eyes water, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now you seem very emotional, and like I'd be quite emotional as well, and I would really struggle in a job like that. How do you keep it together when
And be a single parent and
Exactly.
be facing homelessness with your landlord.
You
and-
take that stuff home with
Yeah.
you, like that's.
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Not that
saying?
you have to, but like it's. I would imagine it'd be very hard.
You
not
do
to.
have to. Yeah, that
Yeah.
doesn't. You can't turn
That's what I
it
mean.
off.
you,
Yeah.
like, have to. Like you can't not. Like, do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
You
not a
can't turn
switch.
it
Like
off.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a skill. I take me training very seriously. I think anybody who's working in services, anybody who's teaching classes, anybody who's working in a healing profession, you have to understand your ethics and boundaries. And you know, it's tough because at the start you want to save everyone, and there is a point where you have to learn to leave it at the door. You know.
yeah.
That's
when
what I'm
you're
saying.
going-
Like, I
when
don't know
you're going
how. Like, obviously with the
Yeah.
training that you've done has helped, but still, like, even you telling the story now, we can feel it. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
know that it was difficult for you, even with the training. Like, so for an
Like
example,
I broke
that's
down a few times in work. Like
yeah,
Well,
no, I
yeah.
can
I
imagine. I can
so.
imagine,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
But like, how do you continue after one Patrick? Do you know what I mean?
yeah, no,
'Cause
when
then,
there's a whole house full of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you'd have to be.
Well, they say if you work in any kind of service like that, 7 years is your max.
Yeah, I heard you saying that before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
7
and
years is your
did you
max.
even last 7 years, or did you do the full
I
7
did.
years?
I did 3 years in addiction services. I did a year and a half in Coolmine, then went on to a methadone program for 2 years, and then I went into homelessness for 7 years. And I tell you, by the end of them 7 years, I was done. I was done. I remember one time the young fellas, Jen, miss, he's at the robbing me cup, and I remember just saying to myself, I have no patience anymore. It's after grinding me in because the work I love, but there was so much policies and politics, and
Bureaucracy.
it was like restricting me from doing the work that I love to do. And my love for life is taking people. I feel like I get people who are literally like just coming out of their shell. I feel like I get like little ducklings, and then it's like nearly not me job, as in like I'm gonna fix them, but I can kind of just guide people and put them on their feet, and then I'm like, right now, go on out and live your life. And there was so much good work that you could do in services, but then with policies and procedures, and you have to have this for fun, like it restricts a lot of the work. And I knew I am not at my potential here. I can do so much more. And that's how I started to come away from services and out kind of on my own. And I think I've had a good, hopefully, impact.
What goes through your mind when you see the homeless crisis that is in the country at the minute, and yet walking in
Yeah, it's very
homelessness?
frustrating.
What are your thoughts seeing these people on a day-to-day basis and knowing everything they're going through, and yet you see on the news, like, we can safely say they just do not give a fuck. Like, do you know what I mean? The homeless crisis in Ireland is fucking terrible.
It's crazy that in 2022 someone has to sleep outside.
Yeah,
It's quite-
exactly. Like
Crazy.
They've created a poverty trap within a poverty trap. So unfortunately, if you get into a bed, like you want to see the fucking job, you have to try and even get a bed in homelessness. Like it takes a long time sleeping rough to get a bed, and then there's all different stages and different stages of different beds. Like one, you might have a rolling bed. That means you're only in for the night to go back out and start again. You might get it back. You might get a 3-month bed or a 6-month bed. But what happens is when people go into hostels, this is where I used to get frustrated and confused, is that you give them so much. You give them food and you give them money and they give them their clothes and you give them a place to stay. But none of that is empowering people. You're giving.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's an almost now a development of expectancy. Well, I want that. Well, give me that. And you know what I mean? And it's not the lad's fault, it's not the girl's fault. It's what they're being taught. So when it comes to standing on their own 2 feet, they find it very difficult. And unfortunately, if you want to get funding for your hostel, you need to say, well, such and such needs this and such needs that. And that's where to get the money in, you nearly have to keep them in this cycle. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And
no,
it does.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
At times. And it's also a life-saving facility at times.
Like, it should nearly be a facility where they give the opportunity to work as well. Do you know what I mean?
Well, now you have to think about the drug situation.
Yeah.
You know, there is a high percentage of alcohol and drug users, unfortunately. So it's very hard to keep a job when you are.
No, but
affected.
I'm saying in the facilities, like, you know, see the way you're saying that giving. Well, why not say, like, look, if you want the bed tonight, these are the tasks that need to be done, and that way it's kind of setting them up for getting used to that lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? Maybe just a small thing like sweep the floors and wash the floors or something like that, just to give them some form of incentive that, look, you don't get anything for free. Do you know what I mean? You have to work.
In a drug-free service, some of the services are like that.
Right.
Or if you go into like the likes of Cool Mine TC, like you have to get up and you are in charge of cleaning the house and the gardening, and someone is cooking like a team.
Yeah.
Like that stuff, but it's a long out road.
Yeah.
To even get to touch that space within a person where they want to do it for themselves. You know.
And you were saying it was hard to get a bed. How many beds would be full roughly? Like how many beds is there that fill up like?
Oh God, it's a while now. I'm not sure how many beds are in Dublin. There's a couple of thousand, but I only heard yesterday on the news there's an extra 300-400 homeless people now gone in the last few weeks.
It's mad to think there's that many, wouldn't you?
It's mental.
Like, let's face it, when you walk around town, you probably see, I don't know, how many would you see and definitely think, oh, right there, homeless? 6 or 7 max?
That are definitely homeless.
Yeah.
I don't even think about that anymore. It's just how many people that I see and sit down.
They're
sit
everywhere.
Down fucking
There's people everywhere.
in a
Yeah,
bleeding
you see,
sleeping bag.
I wouldn't, now don't get me wrong, I don't go to town often, but like the numbers that you're talking about, like, fill a bleeding stadium. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I just think it's fucking mad when you look at it like that, like thousands of beds, like.
Yeah, no, I know. That's the thing, like, see, like you're saying with town, like I've kind of stopped that whole, because I remember when I was younger, I seen someone in town get up off the fucking, on the bleeding O'Connell Bridge, got up, walked 10 yards, hopped into the passenger seat of a BMW, right? And that was kind of like my thing then. I was kind of like ignorant towards him, and at that point I was like, fuck that, like, do you know what I mean?
That's another difficult part. Sorry, Jay.
No, go ahead.
I'd say that's another, like, you need to be, you can't be judgmental, because I'm guilty of it. Do you know what I mean? If I see a certain type of person, like, I do prejudge, even though I hate it about myself.
Everybody does it.
Oh, yeah.
What I
like
learned was, like, you have to make a judgment on a person, but I make a judgment on the person's behaviour to see is it acceptable to come into my life. But I don't make a judgment on that person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'll judge your actions and I'll make a decision whether, like, where's my boundary in this? Like, will I have that person in my life?
You sound like you have a whopper CPU that does a lot of work on absolutely every decision you make in your life. It's fucking crazy.
Fact file.
CPU was in a computer that analyses so much fucking shit before you decide. Even like, so we went and done a yoga class with you today.
Yeah.
Which, Jay, what did you think of it?
I loved it.
Did you just like it?
Oh, yeah,
I loved it, yeah, that was
I always
brilliant.
wanted to do it. I said that to you today. I always wanted to do it.
enjoyed it, but I didn't feel like I gave it 100%.
We said that.
Now, that's my fault. That's nothing to do with you. That was my, I don't know, like, I would have been like you were at the start. What fucking yoga?
Yeah.
But I was willing to give it a go. But even though I gave it a go, I didn't feel full. I think I nearly need to go on my own. To fully get in the zone and...
One,
You know what I
I
mean?
wouldn't go with him again. That's for sure. Come was tiddling me.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
great.
Jay.
Now, see, I'm so happy
You look like
you're
someone who
saying
takes their
this.
fitness serious.
Thanks, Mark. There's always one, isn't there?
But isn't that an amazing insight now that you're after learning? And I'm so glad that you are after saying that, because I think probably one of the things that I'm most proud of in the last few years is that I purposely have not created a community of just girls. And I don't mean it in any way. Like, there's a lot of women's groups and, like, you know, women's circles and all that stuff. But for me, like, my best friend hung himself when I was 20, and that's why I'm here today. He has been the driving force in all of my work. When he died, something changed within me that I understood why he'd done it without being able to being able to say why he did it. I intuitively, I was like, I know, fucking get it.
Yeah.
And that has been, he had a massive impact on me. So everything I do today is in a remembrance of him, and his name is Kev, and he was just amazing. And so to be able to bring men into the group, like it's amazing. And his brother comes to me classes, like it's a joy, and because and a lot of it is a lot of healing in me, because I would have been in a very abusive, violent relationship. And when you go through that stuff, you can either go two ways. You can become bitter and hate all men. See them, they're scumbags and men and this and men and that. And I don't want to be that person. And I don't want to bring my daughter up in that environment, because I want her to be free, and I want her to make her own decisions on who she wants to be with and not take my resentments. So in my thinking, my rationale is that if I can bring men into this environment of healing, then what happens when they go home? There's the ripple effect.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? That will have a ripple effect. And if I can create a safer little space at home and a safer community for everyone, men and women. Like,
and you did get that feedback already, Jen. You got, I can't remember again which podcast. I listened to a couple, but the main one was obviously the lads. But you spoke about a certain man in particular. He went home, and I think his wife rang and said thanks after changing his life. He's not going around angry.
He was in the class this morning before you.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, doesn't miss a class. Loves
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It's mad. Like, I was thinking about it earlier, and an insecurity that I'd have is that if you two weren't going, I probably wouldn't have went.
Yeah.
You know, like that. So
Like
I had
facts.
I had my comfort in the fact that these two were here,
Yeah.
because there was no other lads in our class today. And another thing that I found from it as well, because when you were talking about like not being able to give 100%, I was trying to take in three things today, right? So it was.
Here we go.
No, it was.
I'm really interested.
No, but
I love this.
It was everything that you were saying. So I was trying to focus on that.
Yeah.
Then I was trying to focus on technique and whether I was doing it arseways or not. Because I
Yeah.
think at one stage I opened my eyes and I was like, oh, I'm fucking doing this wrong here. And you were like, yeah, you used to reset, remember?
Yeah.
And then the other one was just by trying to like control me breathing as well. Do you know what I mean?
Was there not something else as well?
Yeah.
What?
Am I alone here, Martin?
No.
Oh, yeah. No, right, fourth thing.
Oh God, do I want to
No,
hear this?
no.
I'm nervous.
First of all, this fucking started because of him. Right? Apologise
Me?
for cursing. Yeah.
Why
because-
the fuck are you
Right.
apologising about
Yeah.
person?
Speaking to a woman.
Don't
right?
ever do that again on this
Right.
podcast.
What happened was,
Fucking
we got out of
idiot.
the car and he was like, boys, I'm gonna fart. Right?
I knew you were going to say that.
Right.
All the lads
So,
always say it. It's cool.
He
it's
said
cool.
that, and then the first stretch that we done, it was now the toes in, knees out, and all. And I was
Ass in the air.
The perfect position
I could feel it. I was
for it to happen. Like,
a whole time.
These are going to put every fella off that's listening to
No,
every
well,
community class.
don't go. It's worth it. Trust me.
But
Just hold it
didn't-
in,
You
lads.
didn't let it rip, did you?
I didn't. No,
You didn't.
when I got in the car, I did.
But what I will say is I didn't feel uncomfortable for 1 second.
oh no.
And
I
I
know,
think
yeah.
I think that's the best kind of feedback we can give for you, for fellas that are looking to do it.
Yeah.
That wasn't one bit of uncomfort.
No.
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 I mean, we were all chatting to everyone. Everyone was welcoming. There was no
It's a great
awkwardness.
environment.
Yeah,
isn't
it was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no issues at all. But the one, go
Sorry,
ahead.
no, it's just to touch on what you were saying. The one thing about it was, for people like us who probably didn't have the right technique or were doing it wrong, there was no judgment or anything, or there was no sniggering or laughing amongst ourselves, maybe.
Martin called me a fat cunt a few times. Come on, Jay.
Like
throw
a
it.
total rolled over on his back, he was.
The bit where you were saying that we had to
Was
come
on my
and scooch
shell.
up to the mirror, lift our legs so we could turn around and put our feet in the air.
Hmm.
That one, I was looking at him for that one now. Yeah, let's see how
Just
he
for
gets them
anybody
legs
who's
up.
listening, they did the feet up at the end of the class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just afraid I was going to smash the mirror. But no, the bit I loved, and I'm assuming that this is the trigger. You have a certain tune that you play at the end, and then you say, put your hand on your heart, put your hand on your belly, and thank yourself. That hit me. That got my feelings. I was like, fuck, the boys better not look at me now. And like, bollocks. But, like, something... I don't think that is near as effective, Jen, without the music. Would you agree with that?
You need the music.
Yeah.
You need the music. You need the music. Like, I when you are in rebound, I hold the space with the Reiki energy. So I'm channeling the Reiki energy into the room. Like, we have the incense going and, like, the reading and all at the end. Like, everybody's crying. Like, all the girls in the first class are crying. And it's just, we've created just this safe space. There's no judgments, like...
I know, there's definitely not. I didn't
took that
feel
from
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the vibe that you have is brilliant. It's something completely different, because when I think of yoga, I just think like people going to a room in the gym and on that mat and just stretches. Do you know what I mean? That was a very meditated session. What, like, or was it anything that made you decide that you wanted it to be like that, like a meditated session, rather than just yoga? Do you get me?
Yeah, so when I started doing my yoga teacher training, I hated it. Absolutely hated it. And I actually just realised yesterday why. I had so much pain and so much trauma in my body that when I was going in to learn the teacher training, it was just bringing up that anger in me. And so when you do like a flow class, that's called a yang, and it's energy and it's fire and it's like, yeah, let's go for it, you know, and you're open, you're moving fast. And for me, I didn't understand that was bringing up too much anger in me, and nobody was explaining what was happening to me. So I was like, I hate this. And every week, it was one weekend a month for 10 months, and every month the teacher would be like, Jen, I'm just going to stay over here away from you. Like, you're very bleeding angry today. And I'm like, I hate this class. Like, I'm very, like, I can't hide my facial expressions. Like, if I'm annoyed at you, like, you'll know. It's just the way I am. And about 6 months into the course, I was going to the studio, the yoga hub, and I didn't even know, this is how naive, I didn't know there was all different types of yoga. And I
Neither did I.
hadn't a clue. I jumped
Other
on
than
the,
goat yoga,
I
but
jumped
whatever.
on the
And
yoga
heated.
teacher training. I never had gone to a yoga class. Never even did a class before. I had no clue. I just
So why did you think yoga was the one for you then? If you had never done the
because it
class?
kept coming to me for 2 years. I kept getting visions of yoga, and I knew I was burned out, and I kept saying, like, I need something holistic to put back into me what I'm after giving out in these services. And for 2 years, and one day my friend just said to me, are you ever going to go and do that fucking yoga? You're telling me about it 2 years. And I was just like, right, I'm gonna just go for this. And I actually went into a class, and it was a Yin Yoga class. I'd never heard of Yin. And the girl, Kate is her name, an amazing girl, went in, lied on me mat, and within 5 minutes I was roaring crying. I was sobbing.
Explain that to me now, because I'd like to know, like, at what stage or where during the session did it just hit you? Like, was it as soon as you lay down? Was it a certain thing she said? Was it a certain stretch?
It was.
Yeah, because you
we
said
were
something like that in one of the stretches
only
today.
a few minutes in the twist, you get a
Yeah.
bit emotional. I was only in the class a few minutes, and I think we were on our first pose. It was the fact that she left me in this stillness, which I'd never experienced before, because from the age of 2 up until I walked into that class, my mind was manic. I never understood what it was like to have quiet in your mind. That's why I drank so much. It's why I was always on mad ones, because I had to get away from my mind. And this was the first time that I was able to just stay in the same position for more than a few seconds without wanting to run. The other yoga, I was so angry and I just wanted to run away from the room. But for some reason, this just allowed me heart to open. And I just was crying, like what the girls experienced this morning, the tears were flowing. And I remember thinking, like, it was the most beautiful sense of euphoria in my body and like a safety. I'd never felt safe. I'd always been in violent and destructive relationships, and I'd never felt safe. And this was the first time ever as a young girl I felt safe, and I was like, wow, this is after blowing me away. And then I got it into my head. I was like, well, if I didn't know about this, who the fuck else doesn't know about it?
Yeah.
Everybody needs this. I'm going to tell everyone. And for the first year and a half, 2 years, I drove the whole country mad. No one knew about Yin Yoga.
Yeah.
No one heard about it. No one had a fucking clue what I was on about. And now look.
But that's like, I'm not gonna lie, that was a little bit hard for me to listen to you saying that.
Yeah.
Like, how old were you when you went to your first yoga class? Your Yin Yoga class that you
Like 30s, early 30s.
That's mental.
Yeah.
And that was the first, like, now we feel like we really need to go backwards because what the fuck was your life like that this 30 whatever you were and 2 minutes to yourself and that's where you felt it all come to you? Like, that's
It is. It's surreal, isn't it? To think like
it's like it's the only break your mind got
Yeah.
since you were born.
It was the first experience, yeah.
So,
It is,
like,
mad.
what the fuck? Like, I know you were saying drinking and all. So, where did all this stem from, Jen? I don't want to.
Obviously, it all starts in your home. Like,
Yeah.
everything happens there, and unfortunately, there was just a disconnection between me and my brother, and like physically, like we were well dressed, well fed. You
Yeah,
know
looked
yourself,
after,
like,
yeah.
we come in from school, big pot of stew, like the gaff is spotless. Like me, you know what I mean? Me parents worked hard, but there was just a coldness between us, and unfortunately, I interpreted that as there's something wrong with me. I'm unlovable. Like, who would want this? And from that's very painful. And because you don't have somebody or any skills to learn how to emotionally regulate, that becomes truth. And it wasn't true. I was loved. My perception
Couldn't
was
see it.
couldn't see it, and I couldn't feel it. My perception was very warped.
Do you put that down to seeing other people like the way? So, I'll be honest, I don't give a bollocks. I remember having a good friend. I used to always go around to his gaff, and how he was treated was completely different to how I was treated.
Yeah.
And that used to make me very jealous. And it used to make me resent people in my house when I went back then. It was like, why is he getting that and I'm coming back to this shit? What the fuck am I doing
I
wrong?
used to mould myself into my best friend's family. Like, I would.
I was the
climb
very
in-
same.
Like, my friend's ma had the weather glazed windows and the little top part. Like, I would climb in that window and just get in and go sleep on the sofa. And like, I always like back gardens were with each other. So when it was dinner time, I just jump over the back wall and walk in. Like, I was always trying to mould myself into some kind of family environment because I just didn't know how to communicate with mine. That's what it was. I didn't know how to communicate. It's like there was no words to explain how I felt because nobody had taught me that. That's probably what the
And that's
problem
what
is.
you said in one of the podcasts, that you feel like it's all your fault, you're to blame, and I completely disagree with that.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, we are who we are because of how we're brought up, and if you're not taught how to communicate, how the fuck are you supposed to do it? Whether it be skill, whether it be your mother and father, whether it be your brothers and sisters,
Yeah.
like, that's, to me, and I say it all the time on this podcast, I don't care what anyone says, who you turn out to be when you're older all stems from your past. Now look, some
Obviously,
people
yeah.
some people like have a shy fucking childhood and go the wrong route. And then the others, like, we spoke about this with athletes and doctors and stuff like that. Like, you look at some of the biggest athletes in the world, their stories are mental. Like,
they
they've
went
went
out-
through so much shit.
Yeah, they weren't
And-
born with a silver spoon.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
I think what has helped me to heal, and I think what has helped me to have just more love and compassion in my eyes towards people is that I believe that, you know, this is just kind of where my journey has brought me now in my spiritual teachings, that, you know, we came into this, I call this earth school because it's fucking hard work. This earth it's earth school. And I think you come here to learn your
What class are you in?
lessons. Oh, I think I'm in bleeding, still in primary.
Completed
class,
me.
Yeah.
But I think you come into this earth to learn specific things, and certain things in my life had to work out the way they did in order for me to have the knowledge and the wisdom that I have now, because now I can take other people and I can kind of walk through their journey with them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't haunt me anymore. It doesn't, like, there's no resentment anymore because I understand now what it was all for.
And again, I don't mean to keep on bringing this back to me. I fucking hate when I do this, but I just completely get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've been through a lot of shit, especially the last 2 years, and I just feel like it was meant to happen to me so we can help people get through it. So people that can't get through it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I am stronger mentally than Jay, and Jay goes through something I went through, I can guide him through it. And I feel like that's the sole reason why it happened to me. Do you understand what I'm
That's the meaning
saying?
of life. That's what it's all
Makes
about.
sense.
That's your karmic cycle.
Mm.
Like, I believe that your purpose as humans is to be of service to others, and it takes you away from yourself. Because when you're consumed in self, that's where the pain is. Like, poor me, why don't I have that? And when you're consumed in yourself, you're just looking at what everything else has that you haven't got, you know. And then when you start to see how you can be of service and what benefit and how can I add to this situation, it just makes your life so much easier, like so much more full of joy. Like it's an amazing thing to be able to walk with somebody on parts of that journey.
And I agree with that, but one thing I hate about it, Jen, is that, you know, you help people so much, and sometimes, like, I'd like to think I'm very good at giving advice, and Jay, you always say this as well. I'm shit at taking it myself. Like, I read some of my messages that I sent to people that text me with mental health and stuff, and I say, geez, Jay, well done, you're doing fucking good there. Like, they're going to really benefit from that. And then I think, we fucking need that. Why am I taking that in?
That's the thing. Like, I've given
And that
people
comes
advice.
back to your self-worth.
Yeah.
That comes back to
But
how
that-
you feel about
but
yourself.
That triggered me today.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. That whole thing that we're just at the being talking about there, when you said thank yourself,
Yeah.
all that came into my head then.
It
I
was,
was
a
like,
thing, it was like hand on the heart and the other hand on your
Yeah.
stomach and all, and it was just like, thank you. It was weird. It's just because
We're not shown
it's
how
not
to do
something
it.
that I've ever like been told before or you hear it often. Do you know what I mean? Thank you. Who fucking says
because
that?
let's
You know what I mean?
face it, it sounds fucking stupid. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jay. Do you know, if you say it
No,
out
it doesn't
loud.
sound
It does,
stupid
but it
to me.
doesn't.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's,
but
it's
I'm saying,
deeper than
And
that. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know it is.
I'm gonna defend
I-
this.
no, and
now.
you're right.
yeah,
to
no,
Jen,
I
you're dead
don't,
right
I
to.
don't mean to say it like that. I'm saying it in a way when you say it out
It
loud.
triggers an uncomfortable
Yeah.
emotion in you.
Yeah, no, we could, like I said, when you said it,
Let's
it
get
did.
into it.
Yeah, it
No, see, I don't think you meant it like that.
Yeah,
I think
I
you
didn't.
meant like.
I'm
you probably
brutal at
feel-
this, by
I
the
know,
way.
it's okay. It's okay. I
Someone
get
has
it.
a
I get it.
podcast. He's a bad communicator. I think you meant that.
But this
you feel
is
stupid saying
this
it.
is language, and this is how we communicate. This is how we get to it now.
Back
This
to
is the
how
good
I was
stuff.
brought up, I was never taught the words. My vocabulary is very limited.
Oh, I like
Tell
that.
me-
Good,
tell
Jay.
me-
Thanks, pal.
Tell me a little bit about what happened. What was that like?
The tables have
Well,
turned now.
Tell the group, tell people listening what you experienced. Like what happened.
How long do we have?
Oh, look, it was a lovely feeling.
Yeah.
It was, you know what? I hate talking about myself on the podcast because it's
I
about
can
you.
see it's uncomfortable. It's different.
It's not even uncomfortable.
Never
It's
about
just
him.
it's. This is why I hate it. No, so it was like sometimes you're so in everything that you're doing that, like even with this show, Jen, like this show started from my ma's box room less than a year ago. Now we have a studio, and like the stories, fuck the numbers. I don't give a fuck about the numbers. Like the people we've met and the things that we've experienced from the podcast, that's all that matters to me. I said to you before the show, this is my therapy. And like today, when you said that, I took a step back.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, actually, like I always say, right, you're 32 years of age, you should have a gaff. You've 2 kids, you know, you're not with the man, like, your life's a shambles, Shay. But then, sometimes, no, it's actually not that bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you take the gaff out of the situation, everything else is going all
Yeah.
right, do you know what I mean? And sometimes, you need that little, like, it can be done in a different way, but I think the way that you said it was, like, you're doing it to yourself. It's, like, you can say to me, Jay, what are you talking about? You have a great podcast. Your kids are beautiful, healthy. You're healthy.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
You have to believe it.
But when you actually say thank yourself and you do it, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I
that's
see where you come from.
where I got the most from today.
Yeah.
However, I don't feel like I gave you full commitment, so I need to go back to give you that. However, I'll be honest, I still don't think I will get what I'm expecting type thing. Like, I'm still of the opinion of, like, all this spiritual talk. I understand that, I get why people get it, but I never feel like I'll be part of that conversation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Why?
Until Steve Jobs comes up with an app for it, and then he's all over it.
That's just me being blatantly honest.
That's amazing, and I love that you're saying that, because this is what this is
About,
truth. This
yeah.
is what people experience. I experience it as well, and when you are faced with them emotions about having to recognize how you feel about yourself, it's a lot easier to push it away and be like, no, that's not for me, because it's very hard to accept love. It's a very hard thing to do. Like, and it's, people think it's all airy fairy. It's hard fucking work. It's very hard work. And look at the battle you're having at the minute. Even though you're coming back to me, you still have conditions on it. But now I don't think you're going to get it. And because you're minding yourself. Because something got touched today. Like, you know what I mean? You felt something today that...
That's good.
She has you, Jay. You're on the ropes.
Something today that's making you vulnerable.
You're fucked.
I'm
You're going back on a weekly
all for
basis.
being vulnerable. I think anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe subconsciously I'm not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, you have to remember that little Jay is still in there. And that's what...
Right.
How'd you know?
We've got to
Who
the bottom
told
of
you?
it, lads. Little Jay
Who
felt
told
vulnerable.
you?
That's what, like, you know, it's getting a little bit, it gets a bit raw,
Yeah.
and we get vulnerable.
Mm.
And there's a lovely saying that I love, Brené Brown. She's amazing. She does loads of talks on vulnerability, and she says that vulnerability is the courage to step into a situation without having control of the outcome. You know, and it's very, it's not easy. It's not easy being vulnerable, and it's not easy even me sitting here and exposing like my beliefs and what I believe in, because I'm putting myself out there to be ridiculed. Like, look at her, she's mad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I believe this is my truth.
Yeah, and this has actually, now I didn't even have this question here now, so it's not that coming to me now, but with things like we're doing on the podcast, we're judged by,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I'm judging that you came from a similar area to us. You would have had kind of similar friends that we'd have, obviously.
Yeah.
And what was the judgment like when you started all this spiritual stuff? Was it like, for fuck's sake, Jen?
cut
Or,
off.
really?
Like, yeah, I was cut off, and for the first 3 years of me being born, I had no friends. Like, I had my friend Emma that you know, but in me community, I had no friends. Like, all of a sudden, the minute
Happy birthday, Emma, by the way.
Yeah, it's her birthday today.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
watching. She's at home.
Yeah, there you go. Happy birthday, Emma.
Happy birthday, Emma.
She didn't say it, I said it.
Yeah.
I'm your new BFF.
But
I'm
like,
going to say something else there for a second, Laurie.
when you, so if you're in a group of friends and everybody's doing the same thing, and you come to a conclusion that shit, this is not working out for me anymore, like something needs to change, other people in the group might not be able for that change just yet.
Yes.
So by you saying that, you trigger them and you highlight something in them that's not ready, because it's it's painful. Change is painful. I don't give a bollocks what anyone says. It's not easy.
100%.
And, you know, so I got cut off, basically, cut out of everybody's life. I had nobody, no friends. And I remember praying. I used to pray, and I'd be like, God, please, just send me, like, a fucking friend. I had nobody.
That's fucking
And
insane.
obviously, things weren't great at home. I had been put out, as you've seen in your notes. Like, to me, it was 2 weeks old. I had to move out. So we were on our own. Like, we were on our own.
It's mad that having a
and it's
child
even,
takes
like,
you there, isn't it? To
Getting
see
me a
what you
little
have.
bit upset now, like, because it's difficult.
Well, look how far you've come. Like, it's a testament to yourself. Do you know what I mean? Fair play to you.
Yeah.
Like, even, like, again, hearing you saying that, like, praying for a fucking friend, like, what the fuck? Like, no one should be in that position ever.
No, not at all.
And lucky you had your daughter there.
Yeah. And you have to understand, like, I'm not all airy-fairy. Like, I was a
Of
coach
course.
as well.
Yeah.
You know, so if I wanted to move away from toxic situations, and I'm asking the universe to bring good women, good friends into my life that I can confide in them, and they're not telling everyone.
Not
or
judgmental.
anytime we have a fight, like, they don't go and wait and I tell you what she did, because that was my life. Like, I'd be so desperate for a friend that I didn't have I'd no boundaries, and the minute I was your friend, and one day I was like telling me whole life, I was telling you everyone I was at to being with. I was telling you everything I was at to doing. Now you have all this ammunition on me, and the minute we fall out, that's gonna get shot back. Do you know what I mean? And that was me experience time and time again. So if I didn't want that to happen, I needed to change me. You know, what was making me do that? And then I had to learn how to be a good friend as well, and not be trying to fix everyone and enforcing my will, because that's what I always did. I enforced my will onto people, trying to mold them into these versions of what I think they should be.
Yeah.
I had to stop all that, 'cause no one wants that.
Yeah,
That's
it
too
makes a
much
lot of
pressure.
sense. Yeah, it really does. Like
It does, because I can relate to what Jen's saying about, like, you know, I've been very closed off in terms of what I tell people, because I feel like from experience is that any time I've ever said something to someone, I know one day it's gonna
Comes
come
back.
back, and it's gonna come back in such a negative way
Yeah.
that I feel like, what is the point of me telling you anything ever again?
See-
I'm just gonna keep my business to me.
See,
and
I'm
then
the opposite.
I'm easy that way.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I put it all out there, and I keep on getting bleeding. I keep on expecting. I keep
Yeah.
on expecting different results, but I just keep on getting it
Yeah.
back. But you know what? My kind of thing, Jen, and I'd love to hear your opinion on this. Is like, so something happened last year, let's say, where
Toilet.
yeah, something happened last year in my life that fucking destroyed me, and I keep on thinking to myself, all I can do is blame myself,
Yeah.
right? And I take full responsibility because I allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
I stayed around for it. It's all my fault. Do you know what I mean? I should have seen, but part of me says, Jay, just change. Don't be like that again. Make sure you're not like this again. And then other side of me is like, no, don't. Like, why should you change? Like, don't not be a nice person just because you had one bad experience. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what's your whole? Because I think what you said is you changed. And look, parts of me have changed because they needed to. Otherwise, I'd be fucked. Do you know what I mean? And I'm so grateful that I was able to change these things that I never thought I could change. But now I'm at a stage where I don't know who I am. And I'm trying to say, right, do you be a prick and what? How the fuck do you say this?
I love this. We're getting deep.
Yeah, no, like,
These are my kind of conversations.
what I'm trying to say is, like, do you try and change who you are to fit in? Like, it seems like a simple fucking answer, though, doesn't it? But it's not.
It's
do you
not,
know what I
it's
mean?
difficult. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
like,
difficult.
me being true to myself has gone down a shit road, and I'm questioning, like, is it me? Is my true self just poxy? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Another way of looking at that is, though, just because you're being your true self doesn't mean the people around you are being their true selves. They
Yeah.
could have all molded into what they think is socially acceptable.
But not only that,
And
I
it's not
could-
them either, do you know what I mean? So
Not
you're exposing them, as Jen would say,
yeah,
in
and
that sense, to
I
themselves.
could be around the wrong people as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's your kind of take on that? Like, where would you be with that?
Okay. So
Because I genuinely feel like what I have just gone through, you've gone through, and you're way past that, and you're on the fucking 16 level of 18 levels. You know what I mean? So I'm very intrigued to hear your kind of opinion on that.
So first of all, with whatever happened, you were like, it's all my fault. I wouldn't be speaking about myself like that. You know, stuff happened, and I always ask, what's the lesson in this? What is the lesson? What did I learn in this? And it always comes back to boundaries. So what boundary was not there that brought me into this situation? What red flag did you ignore? Because we do.
Yeah, 100%.
And then what boundary needs to be put in place in order for that particular thing not to happen again?
Yeah, and I think I figured all that out.
Yeah.
And I think I figured it out pretty quick.
Yeah, you will. If you get hurt badly, you'll figure it out.
Yeah. No, I do. I felt like it's like, right, I know why this happened. I know why that happened. Question why this could have happened. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But it's them ones. It's the maybes. It's like, right, so did we try and fix that, or was that actually me? Do you know what I mean? Is that like something that was genuinely my fault? Like, or I don't know what I'm fucking trying to say.
I think you know the answer. I think you know, and you just don't want to accept this, or you're trying to think of 10 different ways that it couldn't be. Maybe I'm wrong, but we usually know.
Well, if we do, tell me, will you?
We usually know, but, you know, you can keep going over things, or you can accept it, You can take the lesson from it. There's always a lesson. You know, what did you learn about yourself in it? And just apply that now going forward. But what I will say is, if you're still in the same environment, you'll never heal in the environment that made you sick. It just won't happen. So,
No, I'm not in that environment anymore.
So now you're on your new journey now. Yeah. And a little bit of healing, a little bit of yin,
Little bit of yoga,
a little bit of crying in the back of the class when no one can see him. Do you know what I mean? Like,
don't be calling me out on that.
it has to come to a stage where you put the stick down and you let it go.
Yeah.
You take the learning and you move on.
Well, I suppose the overall part of the question that I was kind of looking like is where, like, when you were saying.
Sorry about that, lads.
Playing Space Invaders over there.
I got lonely in my cave. I just started pushing buttons.
What I'm trying to kind of say is, like, when do you think that changing it is not the right thing? I don't even know how you can answer it.
I don't know.
We're probably better off just moving on, because it's. I can't.
Sorry, we have all night.
Like
Jay,
what
keep
you
moving.
said, you knew why Kevin done what he done, but you can't say it.
You can't articulate it. Yeah.
And that's exactly where I am right now.
So
Do you know
if you're stuck with that, you just need a little bit of help trying to unfold it.
Yeah.
And like, that's where the counselling comes in, that's where your journaling comes in, that's where the meditation comes in. Because nothing happens until you quiet your mind.
Yeah.
And there's a lovely thing. I should have played it this morning for you. There's a song, a meditation. And he always says in it that the real work starts in the privacy of your own heart. You know? And that's just your little journey now.
That's
real work starts in the privacy of your own heart. Pretty fucking deep, not gonna lie.
Have you got the key? Have you? We can't fucking get in here. Come here, Jen. Let's jump. Let's try and loosen up a little bit. I don't want this podcast being so bleeding deep. We'll jump into some Instagram questions if that's all right. How long are we in, Martin?
We are an hour and 2 minutes.
Are we?
Jeez,
Jeez, that's flying.
Yeah, sorry,
That was quick, wasn't it?
that's
I'm
probably my
waiting on
fault.
this bleeding salt and chili wrap thing.
Oh, that's coming, don't
Did
worry.
you
Did you order a ring?
No, we'll
guys?
actually
Ian Bourne
order
just
it.
after ordering one.
Is that on your phone, Jay?
Good man, Ian.
Which one?
The one that
The one with the flame?
the red and white one.
It's Tinder, bud.
Good man.
Tinder.
to see it. I'm happy for you.
I'm back out in the streets.
Back in the game.
Doing his thing.
Like a peacock strutting the
I'm doing
stuff.
all right from the edge. What's it?
Just peacocking, just strutting your stuff. Done yoga today, feeling good.
Went home and took a
Went home, downloaded Tinder.
We finished? Fucking
We're never
shite
finished.
bags.
Mad stretchy now.
I don't even know where I am now. Jen, who's your biggest inspiration?
My biggest inspiration.
Stretchy J.
You're not allowed to say your daughter.
No, do you know what? There's
You're not allowed to say your daughter.
Because I think, like, I'll be
most
honest.
people
know.
do
No, I
say
know.
most
Yeah.
people do say their kids.
Mm.
There's a woman who is, and I always think of her. She always comes into my head. She's just amazing. There's a lady who lives in the warehouse, the hostel on James Street, and she lives there all her life. And when I started working there, like, so an alcoholic warehouse is basically an end of life service. So
Yeah.
they take you in off the street if you're a street drinker, and
You spend your final days in here, does it?
you live there till you'll drink till the death.
Right.
You don't have to stop drinking there,
Right.
but they will help you we try and manage our drinking, but
Yeah.
you know yourself.
Yeah.
There's bottles and cans hidden left, right, and centre, and there's
Yeah.
killings in the gaff. But
Oh, bro.
she's just for this woman to be able to live in that house, and she has been battered and broken, and she's lost everything in her life. She's been just, you couldn't imagine what this woman has gone through, and she still gets up every day. And some days I wasn't a carer. So a carer is somebody who comes in and will help them shower and help them like clean themselves, because they soil themselves and stuff a lot, you know. And sometimes she would get herself, God love her, into an awful state. And if there's no carers there, like I wouldn't have the heart to leave someone sitting in their feces or their soil, you know. So
Working that I do. Like, I'm not a carer, but like we kind of organise carers to go and like basically assist people who are end of life or palliative and stuff. And
Yeah,
like
palliative
some of
is
this,
a lot of palliative, yeah.
some of the stuff I hear is just heartbreaking, like genuinely, because it's close to home. Like with having 2 grandparents who passed away, and all, it's horrible to hear. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
some of that stuff.
And, you know, we just had so special moments that, you know, she'd let me like if she'd let me wash her hair, or sometimes I do her nails for her, and she would just start to tell me little things about our story, about our kids, and I won't go into it because it's
it's not
Yeah,
your
no, of
fault.
course.
Private.
Yeah.
it's her story. But if you're ever driving down James's Street and you see this woman with black hair and her little trolley wheeling and she's giving out to someone, that's me friend Bridget, and look after her, because she's a good woman. And I tell you one thing, you will learn a thing or two about humility when you spend time with people in these services. Like,
I can imagine. Did you ever tell her that before, by the way?
Bridget?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was driving, it was about a year ago, because I left years ago. I was driving down at the side, so you know where the Lewis track splits James's Street? You know that big red building?
Yeah.
That's the building I walked in. And I was coming around the side of it, and I seen her, and I jammed on, and I was like, Bridget! And God love her, I trying to not frighten her, you know?
Yeah.
And she's like, who's that? Who the fuck is that? I was like, it's me. And I jumped out of the car, and it took her about 5 minutes of me kind of just like holding her hand and talking to her till she recognised my voice again, and then she just started crying in the middle of the street. The two of us were crying and hugging each other, and like, they're real, you know. That's what gives me the drive, I suppose. Like, how can I keep complaining about life when I'm looking at women like this who are bet down and they get back up? She's the most determined woman in the world.
It's such a simple thing to say, isn't it? Like so many people have it a lot much worse than us, but lately I've been taking that and I've been really going with it. Like your like perfect example, Keith and Pamela on the podcast. Like, this is what I'm saying. This is like therapy for me. We had Keith and Pamela on. The kid had
Cerebral palsy.
Yeah, I'm brutal at saying it, so thanks for that. You read the
That's what I'm here
situation.
for, bro. Oh no.
and like, I'm complaining over something that can be fixed. You know what I mean? That's not the end of the world. But yet, we have 2 healthy kids, and I'm complaining about this. I'm like, it's just stop being so fucking. Be grateful.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. That's not to say you can't be upset. You can't. Obviously, each to their own.
Has
but
to be a perspective.
yeah, just fucking open your eyes and get over it when it's a small issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think like over the last few years, especially in this last 2 years where people struggling so much with all these restrictions, like when I see another person, like especially the young girls, because when I was growing up, there wasn't anyone that I could role model.
Right.
There was nobody in our estate that was doing anything in any way constructive. It was all carnage. So when I see young girls coming into my class and they're deciding that they don't want to go down that road of like drug dealers and that environment, and they see change, and when I see girls coming into me class and they're only young and they're doing what I done, they're breaking away from the kind of the cliques and the
and there's definitely a lot more of them now.
And they come in to me class and they just the work ethic that the young girls in my class put in now is just fucking astonishing. Like, the majority of I call them my girls, like I'm so protective of them. Like, they're all out now, they're working, they're setting up businesses, do you know what I mean? Like it's amazing to see. Like, I'm really inspired by, I suppose, the people that come to me classes.
How heartwarming is it for you though to see like people who probably are or were going a similar way that you were, and then they come to you for that change? Do you know what I mean? Like that must be.
That makes that to me is like job satisfaction.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah.
Makes everything worthwhile. Like, I will, and I'm as much as I am full of love and full of good energy, and I'm full of light. Like, I'm tough love as well. Like, they know, anyone who comes to me class, like, I will walk with you till the death. Like, we will be in the trenches together. But I'm not doing this work for you.
Yeah,
I have to do my own fucking work.
Yeah.
And you're gonna do your work, and together we're gonna make sense of this, and we're gonna get the hell out of it.
That's brilliant, man.
Another question that I want to add on to Jen is
He
right.
makes me do.
I know. No, it's a simple question:
Right.
is she single? Right, number one, right, and then number two, what I'd like to add on is like I feel
You're
like
asking me out here.
I was
live
just
on
thinking,
TV.
where's this going?
Is this going?
no,
Well,
right.
you only have to tell her about your Tinder. She's not going to go to
Yeah, I know you're ratting me out, Jay.
Sorry.
No,
He
so
was searching who's near to him.
I am like just by talking to you, like I'd feel like you would be. Now tell me if I'm wrong. Like you're obviously clued in. You know exactly what you want. So is it hard for a fella to get in, judging by everything you've been through? And I know for a fact you know what you want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you know what you want, it's like, let's face it, you don't know anyone the first couple of
Yeah,
Geez,
everybody's
nearly
on
months.
best behaviour
yeah.
for
do
the
you-
first few months.
So
And then it starts to slip.
yeah.
Yeah.
So firstly,
Look at Martin nodding.
No, I know, yeah. I
firstly, are you single? And then secondly, is it hard for you to find someone with everything that you have going on and where you are spiritually and mentally and stuff?
Yeah, yes and yes. So
Right.
I am single and it's very hard. But I suppose I've had to do a lot of work on myself to break the cycle that I was in. And I think where I'm at now is I'm coming into a phase where I could be in a healthy relationship now. There's been so much work that's had to be done. I had to stay on my own for a time, for a long time to do the work.
And you can get very comfortable on your own as well.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I would definitely need somebody who doesn't want to change me because I've always had that. You try and kind of break your spirit a little bit, and then I just need somebody who's okay with their own shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is
Like-
anyone though?
Well, but yeah, you have to learn to be.
I don't think anyone is. I think everyone is.
No, I see both of it. You have to learn to be, but also I do see, like, you know, people have their own
maybe I said it
insecurities
wrong.
and their
I
flaws
need-
and stuff.
I
But like,
need
You had to
somebody
take every moment.
I need somebody to be aware of their own shit.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the key.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
that's-
I
that-
would
yeah.
need because I, for years, spent so much time and energy trying to tell people what they were doing wrong, and I just haven't. I couldn't be bothered now. It's too draining.
you see the way you're talking about, like, you know, like people to come in and try and change it and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you'd probably be in a position where you'd be like, which I think would be a positive, by the way, but like pushing your beliefs on people
No,
in
I
terms
did
of
that
spiritually
for.
and all?
I did that for years. I know, not me spiritual stuff. Like, that's just they're me things that I love. Like, and I would like to meet somebody who has an open mind that I could have these
An open
kind
conversation
of
about,
these
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of conversations and to be vulnerable with somebody and say, like, do you know what? I actually feel jealous because of such and such, and it's not that you're making me jealous. This is just something. Like, imagine being able to say that to somebody. Like, I feel jealous without fucking wrecking, causing more. Like, you made me jealous. You looked at her this way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I've learned now that it's okay to say your truth without putting the blame on something.
That's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
in my opinion, that's just good communication.
Yeah.
And I think that's vital, obviously.
It's,
Like,
but it's so very simple as well.
it is.
It
But
is
not
and it
everybody
isn't.
does it.
I
Yeah.
know. But
Do you know what I
that you need to be at a certain point in your life. And
Yeah.
me personally, now, look, this is just how it came for me. I feel like it came with age and with being
Yeah.
wiser and being fucked about in the past and doing your own shit or whatever to finally get to where you are now and say, right, I know this wouldn't have happened or I wouldn't have done that if we just communicated better.
And I think, yeah, especially coming from the background that I've had and the experiences with trauma and stuff, silence triggers me. So
Yes.
if you ignore me or that kind of stuff, or see the head games,
Yeah.
like this whole thing of I'm gonna punish her now and not talk to her for fucking 10 days, and my head would be gone with that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know now, I like exactly what you said.
Yeah.
I just need somebody who's mature enough to communicate. And if I'm doing your head in and you need a break, Jen, I just need a day.
Yeah.
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 And that's
Yeah.
okay. Like,
You know what I
totally
fucking
respect somebody who's able to be honest to me face, like, and I'll never argue with anybody who's speaking that truth to me because I respect it so much. and I
Someone's
know-
creating a Tinder profile with everything you're writing, saying this, and that.
100% upfront and honest.
Coincidence after you have the app downloaded, huh?
Ollie's born our phone.
But you know what saying I love? Never go to sleep angry. You know,
Yeah.
always have it out.
mainly have like I
refuse to not have that in my
I
next
know
relationship.
I like 100%, but I've kind of been on both sides of it because I love the idea of that. But I've often, like, if it's a row with
gets
me ma
worse.
or my sister or whatever, but the only person that it will never, ever, ever happen with is my child. You know what I mean? Look, I
Yeah.
do it every single time, even if
But
my
if you can
daughter has
do
a
it with
cry
your
in the
child,
house.
you can do it with everyone else.
Yeah, no, you can. You're
Yeah.
right. But I don't.
Difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. I don't
Family
know.
stuff is the hardest.
I don't know, what's the word for it then? Like, because I'm just not allowing myself to do that.
Yeah.
Or
Ego.
I can allow myself, but yeah, probably it is
Yeah.
ego, maybe. Do
But,
you know what I mean?
but no,
Quite
as
vulnerable.
well.
It's a big thing going back to your family and apologising. Like, it's very difficult. Like, I could say sorry to somebody on the street quicker than I could say sorry to a family member.
Yeah, I would
Do you know what I
probably
mean? Like,
be the
if
Yeah.
I bumped in or if I said something.
Yeah, I
to
think a lot of
offend-
people are like
to
that.
offend somebody, like if I said something to offend you, and like even when we had that chat at the start about how we first met and at the bleeding the 40, and I was like, I didn't mean that by that.
Yeah. But you didn't apologise either.
No, yeah, she
I was
shunned
going
us.
to say this live
shunned
now.
us.
I'm really sorry.
Did you hear?
I didn't know who the lads were, and they were fuming.
Who was it?
I didn't hear your show.
Who,
That's
who
what
said
you
it
know.
actually? Who we call now here from the lads take
What's
care?
his name?
Patrick from Lads
Patrick.
Take Care.
Yeah.
Paddy.
Paddy.
Yeah.
Is his name Patrick? Yeah.
What imagine so? You know what I mean?
Could be
No,
just
Paddy's
Paddy, no?
usually short for Jeff. Of course, his name is fucking Patrick. Jesus Christ.
That's a clip.
We're moving on.
That's a clip.
Fucking hell, I'm having a stinker.
That's fucking
all
brilliant.
right, I actually.
Keep going. Yeah,
Paddy, yeah,
great.
Paddy's
You're doing
Day.
great. You're doing
Paddy's
great.
Day, for example.
Yeah, okay.
Chef's Day.
Look, I'm gonna make a show with this person more than myself. A question we got in. I actually think did you read it out for it already? Or did you read it out to us? This
See,
one here.
these ones make me nervous.
I
now.
know,
Give
there's
me
nothing to be
anxiety.
nervous here. Well, let's
Right,
just.
now
Oh,
you,
oh,
can
yeah,
you see the question?
No, I'm just looking at the cameras. I have them on my phone. I'll WhatsApp them to you.
Come on, Jay. You
One
for-
have the fear.
Jay, actually,
Oh,
you for away with the rest. You take a few there.
Yeah, but like,
But by the way, Jen, when you see me on my phone, it wasn't me responding on Tinder. I was ordering your rap for you, right? So the
Were you
rap
swiping
is on
while
the
I
way.
was bleeding porn out
you
my
are.
heart.
Swiping on the menu, I was. But just to let you all know, Jay, sorry to interrupt you.
you ask the questions and then you
Dangs is continuously sponsoring us. They're after coming out with a new menu today. It's over on their Instagram page. Go over and check them out. And Jen, you have to let us know what you think your rap as well. We created that ourselves. We're very proud of it.
Yeah.
And we think it's absolutely delightful.
Oh, fuck.
And on that note, one of our listeners also commented in saying he's after ordering one. So thanks to the sponsor, he said. That's Ian Bourne. Fair play to Ian.
Fair play to
Good man,
Ian.
Ian.
Whoever hasn't tasted it. You know what annoys me, right? Everyone that knows me knows that I
Yeah.
don't take it and like you offer me £100, I don't like your product, I genuinely won't fucking take it.
Yeah.
The Mearso stuff, I swear, boy, it's unbelievable. I get complimented. What was the Christmas party like? Every second person was coming over to me saying I smelled lovely.
Because he was wearing
Clattered
car
myself
fragrance.
over.
Because he organised a Christmas party and more car perfume to it.
It's not car perfume.
It is car
It's
perfume.
customised. It's customised.
Car
Male
perfume.
perfume. It's not.
Customised car
You can
Why is your
get-
car a boy?
Lads, listen to me, right? He has car sense, he has room sense, and he has perfume. I get the perfume, and it's fantastic. He doesn't make it yet, so I feel special that he does it to me, but definitely get it for your car. And regarding Dangs, everyone says, is it actually nice? Well, if it wasn't actually nice, we wouldn't be fucking saying it.
I will tell the truth. I can't lie.
Right, do. So you'll say we'll have to start the podcast again. Just to say
know if you say you're
We'll
negative, it
stay
won't be going
tuned to our Instagram and we'll
I'll do
hear
it
what
live
Jen
on
thinks.
this rap tomorrow.
Yeah,
and lads,
100%.
These two lads know a good curry. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Let's
Let's face facts here.
now. Come on, there's no need to. We know that. We don't need you to tell us that.
You know it as well, man.
Yeah, I enjoy it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it too.
Jen, what's on the cards for 2022?
Geez, I've loads. So I'm hoping to launch my coaching with neuroscience business soon. That's on the way, where I'll be able to do one-to-one coaching and group work and workshops and stuff. I'm nervous. Obviously, it's getting to the point where it's nearly ready to go, and then you get the fear: am I gonna fail? Is everybody gonna know I'm at the failing? So I've been kind of walking through that stuff, but no. I'm gonna give it my best shot.
I think your determination will just get you through it anyway. Like,
Yeah.
You can tell from.
The
Like,
amount
I-
of supporters you have alone, that's
Yeah.
game over.
Yeah.
You're
You
set.
have to. You've no choice.
And look, it's what I've always been doing, anyways.
Mm.
But now I just have the neuroscience brought into it, which I love. It's fascinating. Like, yoga was always had this kind of and meditation and all always had this kind of thing about, oh, it's all airy fairy and it's a load of bollocks. And I remember.
But you thought that yourself, didn't
I
you?
thought that myself,
Yeah.
but I just didn't understand it. And I have a type of mind that if something works, I want to know how it works. So I went and I studied for the last year through the lockdown, the neuroscience. And it's all about how your brain, your heart connects, your emotions, like your feelings, what happens to you when you meditate, like how to regulate your emotions. Like it's so like it's fascinating. And like now I've just gone on this rabbit hole of just finding a whole new platform to study and learn. So I'll see what happens with that.
Is that a way for you to integrate that to your yoga? Yeah.
Yeah, I bring it all in, because if I understand the mechanics of what happens in your brain, like with your dopamine and your serotonin and stuff, like I can explain that to people.
Yeah.
Then they realize, like,
You're more respected in what you do when you know more. It's
Yeah.
simple facts.
like, and when you're going, if you're anxious, you know, your system is flooding. Your system is flooding with either cortisol or adrenaline. So when I get anxious now, I know that, okay, I have too much adrenaline, too much cortisol in my body. What do I need to do now to reduce that? How do I bring the dopamine levels back up? So it's all about balance. And when you explain it to people like that, they're like, right, okay, that doesn't seem too airy fairy. Like I can
Yeah.
go with that, and it's amazing.
Yeah. No. Best of luck
And
with
then
it.
I have,
I'm sure
sorry,
we'll see some of
I'll
it.
cut you off. So this week we have our full moon hike. So I always do.
Seeing that,
I'm going to
yeah.
do one big event every month. So I started the full moon swims like in August 2020, and no one was doing anything on the beaches. And like, look now,
I know.
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? It's amazing. So I
Are
love
you
that.
saying you created that? You're the starter.
I am the star of the show. I did the first one in August 2020. I remember saying to my friends all summer, because the Portmarnock swim rise were doing the AM, getting up at 4 and 5 in the morning. And I tried it once, and sure, Jays, I was drunk tired for the rest of the day. Like by 11 o'clock that day, my mind was gone. I'm a real sunset girl, and I like the evening. And Yin is the Chinese for moon. So the moon energy, like, is just really me. So then I was like, all right, I'm going to try and do this. They're all doing it in the morning, getting up for sunrise. I'm going to try this in the evening time. And then it just fucking
And
took off.
what time do you do that? What
What-
Pacific times? Like, is it like 8 o'clock set?
Yeah,
is it?
we kind of change it through the seasons.
Yeah.
Like you kind of get the daylight out of it.
Yeah. No,
Usually at sunrise or sunset.
Yeah, the sunset.
I know, but with Ireland, you know, things
And
can
then
change.
Last week we had the sunrise hike up to Brayhead. That was beautiful. So this week we are out for the full moon hike. So I'll have something every month. I'm gonna try and put on 12 events, one each month. I'm gonna try and like move out a little bit. We might go traveling. We might go down the country. Like I've a few little things coming up, and we're back out in the class. In the class, go out into the park in the summer. So all summer now, I'll be out in the park teaching. Unbelievable. The energy is totally different. It's lovely.
Sounds
Outdoor,
amazing,
like-
yeah.
Outdoor in the Phoenix Park, it's beautiful.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference in that for you?
In teaching outdoors,
Yeah.
oh, the energy in the trees, like it's totally different. Like it's just a different experience. You'll
Like-
have to come and try it. Like,
Like,
That's what I
yeah.
was just thinking, because I was probably already shooting down that idea, because today in the class that we done, I loved that atmosphere and that
Yeah.
environment. I thought that was brilliant. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is me. I do this. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And then in my mind, I'm probably already shooting down the idea
Yeah.
of doing it outdoors.
just
you know?
fear.
Yeah, it probably is. Do you know what I mean? I don't.
But when you're lying there and the sun on your face, like, and this, like the music.
But
and
see,
the-
you're well
stuff.
clued in with all
Yeah,
that. You
yeah.
appreciate the details.
Yeah.
Like, you probably hear one leaf whistle and we haven't a clue what you're talking about. Do you know what I mean?
I'm sitting there getting sunburned. Just melt into a yoga mat.
Imagine them leaving me class covered in blisters all my nerves.
So what was the comment you made today in the studio?
Oh, that was a cracker. It was
Yeah.
the best.
Didn't hear
Yeah.
that, what
Oh
was
no,
it?
you.
And you forgot to press the button again. You got
I pressed the
upset.
chair button.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't hear it,
100%.
did you?
repeat that comment from earlier on, man.
Yeah, please. And press that
What
button
was
straight
oh, little
after.
sneaky comment in my class. What was
It
it?
was
It was
about
about
me,
Jay, don't
and it
worry.
was an absolute. You know, I couldn't even be angry. It was
What
beautiful.
was it? I can't even remember.
It was about.
dust.
It was about. So let me elaborate on the story a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit. I was like, lads, I'm fucking loving this. But my head's wrecked with this fucking sand on the floor or salt or whatever the fuck it is. You know, when I had my hands out
Yeah.
on the mat, it's grand. It's mat, you're not moving. And as soon as I kind of spread out, I felt like fucking. It was probably sand off someone's yoga mat that was in there before me or something.
Probably,
But
yeah.
me, it was on my hands, and I'm real fucking fussy with shit like
Yeah.
that. You know me? I was like, yeah, bastard, fucking. You know what I mean? And I was like, I loved the lads, but it was wrecking me head. There was something on the floor, sand. I don't know why I said salt. Clearly, there's no salt on the floor. Well, you wouldn't know with all the bleeding stones and all, actually.
Yeah.
But then Martin says, that's not fucking sand. That's dust from your body. Not moving for so long. It was just, Martin, give us a little. Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good one. It hit different in the moment.
Yeah, it did. But Martin is the man for them gems. If you
He
ever
just
need a
comes
gem-
and he shuts it. That's why he sits over there for an hour thinking, and then when he gets it, boom.
Sitting over here dying for the curry, just that's all I'm here for,
Well,
lads.
come here. I just want to elaborate on that because one kind of stemming off that question is the whole sea swimming. What does that do for you in particular, Jen? Because it like, not that it's a new thing, but it's getting really big now where everyone is looking to get into it.
It's amazing.
Now, me personally, I am a brutal swimmer.
Yeah.
Me and Jay went out that day we seen you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that day. Yeah.
I had planned on getting. Oh no, what was it?
I had planned.
Why did I not get in?
Because
You
you were
didn't get
dressed.
in.
You were in fucking jeans or something. You were never getting in.
Yeah,
anyway.
but there was a reason for it. Did I not
There
come up
wasn't.
with some excuse? No.
Yeah, you didn't have armbands.
Maybe that was the
Ah,
the
excuse.
thing
you went
was,
out and you didn't get in.
No, see, that's more on me because I was in me shorts. I had me towel in the car, and then by the time he pulled up, I was like, lads, I'm not getting in there. Like, fuck that.
He's bottled it.
Yeah, well,
Now, here,
first
you
of all,
want to know what I
I
done?
needed
And I
a-
don't give a bollocks. I went out and bought a life jacket. And I'm going to jump in. I'm going to look like a fucking idiot with my life jacket.
Did you really
I'm
buy a
still
life
gonna-
jacket?
Yeah, I did.
Fucking hell.
I did. Because I want to experience it. I want to jump in and see what it's like. I can
But-
swim. I'm just brutal.
When are we all
I
going to go out
can't
and do it then?
swim either. I'm just like a little paddle. Like
The fucking 40 foot or whatever the
I
fuck.
know, but just go around the other side where it's calmer. And
Like,
you
I'm
can
watching
walk in.
everybody going up there and just jumping.
Ah,
off. I'm the cunt that'll
you're
slip
on the
and
little
then
beach,
bang
aren't
him
you?
up.
And what, you can't swim.
I wouldn't be great now. I nearly died at the 40-foot.
But you can float.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
yeah.
you
I
can
can
float.
float water.
I weigh about 20 stone.
Yeah.
So when I get into
If-
water, I
if
just
the
dive.
water's calm, I'm okay. The minute it starts getting a bit wavy, no, me bollocks, I'm
Yeah.
out here round to the sandy cove.
When I get into the water, I get brick tight to me
Yeah,
foot.
you're like
Yeah.
Baloo
I
from
just-
the Jungle
But
Book.
it's,
I just
you don't
sunsets
have to swim, like, you just have to even walk in. And what the cold does is the cold will shock your body and you have to regulate your breathing.
Right.
And the minute you get that clicks with you, your mind just goes so quiet.
Right.
Like,
Are you
it's
allowed to get in
amazing.
water with your t-shirt on, eh?
Whatever you want.
I don't think you
Yeah,
need
we
the
have
extra
to.
weight.
Oh, God.
What did you say?
It was just a fucking. It was another fat joke.
Oh, there's nothing new there.
At least
But
I'm
no,
not getting
right,
them for
right,
it.
Jay, so we agreeing to go out then?
We
And
go
get
out,
in.
like, fine.
When was this, lads? In the summer or something?
Yeah, it was because we had fucking unreal weather, didn't we? Like,
So when you get in
Well,
there, it
look,
was
if
lovely
you
out.
didn't get in the summer, you're not going to get
Yeah.
in now.
Oh no, I won't get in now. No,
No, I will. I've no
Well,
problem
fuck
getting in. It was
that.
just,
Do
it
it.
was
I'm not
just
getting
a
a bleeding
40 foot. I was
1,000 knives.
terrified
So
of.
Round
go
trip.
Boy,
around to
Garvey.
the other side. Don't go to the 40-foot.
Yeah,
because
but it was
that's like
manky.
traumatic.
It was
It's
manky that day. It was
Paddling
all
pool.
fucking green shit in the... No,
You have a lot
fuck
of
that.
excuses.
I
Yeah.
know. No, look, I'll get
Just
in
take the
with
plunge,
cold,
mate.
Shock you all. Me armbands.
It was actually a good day out though that day, wasn't
It
it?
Yeah,
was
but
actually
like-
quality,
It's
wasn't
We
it?
don't- we don't go out
Towards the
Yeah.
end of it, I had an awful.
We
good
go
day.
out in about
Looking at all the
June.
women.
No, I had to run
We go
around
out in about
fucking
June or
40
something. I'm not
foot
going
before
out till
we take a
the
piss.
summer.
I can't, Paul. I think it'd probably be better this time of year just because you get more of the fucking
Yeah.
feelings. Am
No.
I right in saying that?
Look at fucking
Yeah,
1,000
see?
knives going
Until
through
they
the
figure
nose.
out a
Get
way
me
to-
at this class.
Until they figure out a way to heat it, I'm not doing it.
Go on to the
Fuck
next
that.
one.
Right, the
Moving
next
on.
one. Would you ever consider doing an audio book or calm audio?
Yeah, I would love to. And I was telling you, I always get asked, will I record the readings? You know the readings I do in the class? Or would I record like the readings and the meditations? And I'd love to. You know the book I use, it's a daily reflection. And I would love to just record each day and put it out so that you can just go on to like Spotify or whatever it is and every morning just press it and listen.
It's
to
so
it.
easy to do.
I know, I don't know how to do it. And when I don't know how to do something, I just get a bit overwhelmed.
Real-
That's a great idea, that
My
is.
man's the same. See, we'd like just eat or something. My man's would be like, I'm like, yeah, it's fucking simple.
Yeah.
If there's a menu.
But if you've
press
never done it
go away.
before and you're not tech savvy,
She doesn't
Yeah,
want to learn.
I'm not. I would love to. I'm not tech savvy.
right? So
Can't use an iPhone or anything.
I'll show you how to do it in a matter of seconds when this is over. It's so simple. It's like recording a voice note on your phone.
Okay.
And then what I would suggest at the start is just have the music playing in the background when you do it, just to simplify it for yourself.
Yeah.
And then when you grow a bit of confidence, then you'll add music and you'll
Yeah,
get
I
better
like
and
the bit of
better.
music.
Yeah, it definitely adds to it, doesn't it? Like we said
100%.
that today.
It's the ambience, isn't it?
Yin
It's all
Yoga
about the
Jen
ambience.
audio.
Yeah, he
What is
banged
it?
out
An
that
audio
fantastic
book?
word.
Audio book, yeah.
Audio book on the way.
There you
Yeah,
go.
or else some ASMR or something like that. Either way, you'd be grand. If she was a Pokemon, what kind of Pokemon would
I
she
don't
be?
even know anyone
and
in
why?
Pokemon.
I just know
What kind of
Pikachu.
question is that?
You never,
It's an Instagram question, so
Alright,
if I was
okay.
did you
Pokemon-
never,
Sorry,
did you never
Jen.
click Pokemon cards as a kid? No.
Can we name and
No.
shame whoever sent that in?
Maybe,
Oh,
maybe
I don't
me
know.
it does.
Jay
That's
has that
right.
information.
Look,
I don't.
he's getting named
Pikachu.
and
I'll
shamed.
go with Pikachu.
Yeah.
You said he's
'Cause-
getting named and shamed.
Because you're electric. No, mommy on there.
Shut up. No jokes just down
There
here.
was no reasoning, so
No.
we done it for her.
No.
Fuck's sake. Well, you continue. I'm going to
Will
find
I?
this fella. Yeah,
Right.
I'm going to name and shame him.
There's only
No,
one
don't
last
name.
Instagram.
Don't
Actually,
do
I want
And
to
if you
ask
can't find them, just blame Wes.
Yeah.
Did you ask about the no money thing? Because when I was down the toilet, that's the only reason I'm asking.
Yeah, we
So
can go
I think
back.
we've seen something where it's like, if you've no money, it's no excuse not to go to the class or something like that, or to.
So
Is that
he's
what it
going to
is?
be there every week and won't
Are
give you
you
a
saying
cent.
you
yeah.
don't, you're not going to pay?
No, that's
This is
no,
choppy
it's a
waters now, be
No,
question.
careful.
I know that where that came up. Yeah. So when I was struggling and when I was in college and a single parent and all that stuff, like I know what it's like to have nothing. Do you know what I mean? I know what it's like to have nothing. Like the garage where I live, like we don't, like if I had to get to work or I had to get to college, like if you had €2 or €3 and pennies, like you'd be throwing it into your man in the garage, and he just knew by looking at me, and he never said that, and do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's like I just know what it's like to have nothing, and if the class is helping you, or if something that I'm doing is helping you, and you're stuck at home because for whatever reason at the minute you just can't get there, like just talk to me, like it's private. Do you know what I mean? And I just say that to everyone, like don't miss the class. If it's helping your mind and you need to get to it, like don't stay away just because of money, like you know what I mean? That's
And that just shows that you love what you do, Jen. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? That
Yeah.
money isn't the driving
It's not a
force.
financial incentive.
It's
a
lovely little
Yeah.
policy
and
to
I know
have.
people probably listening that are business people, like she's a fucking like I've had people say this to me, like, what? You're a fucking idiot, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
well, I'm pretty sure you'd have rent to pay on the
and
studio. Like,
yeah,
wouldn't you?
like obviously I don't let anyone take the piss.
Yeah, so you have to pay for the rap as well, actually.
Pay for this
Yeah.
bleeding lockdown. Like obviously,
You'll get in the door.
I think sometimes people, I get annoyed sometimes. I think sometimes people can have a perception of me that I'm too soft or I'm a bit of a doormat, and that that annoys me. That does, because I'm not. And trust me, I'm not.
Yeah, you're a black belt in karaoke
Like
as
I'm
well.
a black belt, but you know, I just don't see the point in somebody struggling
Yeah,
when you don't need.
especially when you've been there yourself. It's
I know what it's like,
yeah,
and it'll come good, and it always comes back to you.
yeah, totally agree.
Right. Did she bring any gifts for the lads? 'Cause
Oh, I
she
seen
hooked
this one at the
the
end.
talking bollocks lads. Well, I did notice she came empty-handed, so
You got
Well,
free yoga
You
out
got
of it.
free yoga class off me
yeah,
this
I ain't
morning.
complaining.
Did they ever do a yoga class with you?
Did the lads come to me class?
I know they've.
They
come
came to
to-
the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did it on the beach with me
Right.
once. Yeah, they
And
had the
wha-
best experience of their life.
What way does the beach work? So would you charge for doing the beach as
No,
well?
the beaches are free.
The beaches are free,
Most of the time, we'll probably do donations for Suicide Awareness Dublin 15.
right?
Like myself, and I'll
You
give
do
John.
that
I'll
one
give John
around.
a shout out. John Boland is my friend. He is another advocate for Suicide Awareness Dublin 15. And between the beach stuff and the Hike for Hopes, we've raised thousands over the last 2 years. So Suicide Awareness Dublin 15 is where I come from. My friend Ma Lillian actually set it up because one of my best friends, Gregory, hung himself. So that's his man.
So you've had two.
I've
close.
had a lot of suicides. Like most of my friends are dead. Yeah, it's a bit a lot of suicides and a lot of overdoses. So I've seen a lot. Do you know what I mean? And I know what it does to communities. So if I
certainly
can
lived
help,
the life anyway, haven't you?
oh, I've seen everything. I don't think there's anything that I haven't experienced.
It's mad, isn't
So
it?
to be able to give back to Lillian and help that, the charity is amazing. They don't get any government funding. They get nothing.
Right.
So to be able to give back to them it's just a gift. Like.
And in the process, you're helping everyone that shows up as well.
Yeah.
Do you know
And
what I
look,
mean?
that's where you get your good karma. I know that, like, when you do your charity work, like, the universe looks after you. Like, the stuff that I did in them hostels, like, I would never take it back. I was happy to do it, but look at the life that I have now, and I put a lot of what I have now down to what I done then. You know.
Fair play to you.
Do you ever feel like would it?
Plastic bag.
What?
What? Fuck's sake.
He wasn't going anywhere. I
No,
had to.
no.
Do you ever
So-
feel
Thank you.
like a plastic bag?
Obviously, you have a daughter.
Yeah.
You're so into kind of helping people and giving out positive energy. When you come home, do you ever feel like that's kind of like you're kind of tired and she doesn't see her best self from that, or do you feel it actually benefits her from all the? Now, I would take that she's benefiting from all this because you're at a kind of spiritual, mental level that you were never taught as a kid, but now you have all the skills in place plus some to now teach your daughter. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm an emotional wreck when I watch bleeding. There's an ad on the telly makes me upset. A certain like music is really.
Have you? Sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah.
Did you watch The
I'll
Rescue?
do it to him because he does that to everybody.
The
Did you watch
Rescue?
The Rescue? Yeah. Please,
No.
if anybody's listening, please go and watch this film tonight. It's the new documentary out about the 13 kids in the Thailand in the caves,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they were rescued. It will blow you away. It will completely restore your faith in humanity, and you
Right.
will cry your fucking eyes out. It is the most powerful thing that I have ever seen.
Did you ever see Click?
No,
Broke me heart.
The Adam Sandler movie?
Fucking broke me heart.
I think when I first seen it, I
He's
was
lying on the ground in the rain, and I'm just like bollocks. I ain't gone. Marley and Me is another one.
Armageddon, when he pushes him in the box to the elevator shift. No, that's at the end of that
Wonder.
movie.
Did you ever see Wonder? The little boy that wears the helmet.
No.
Oh, Jay, little.
When was the
Audie.
last time you cried? Like
Every-
over a movie?
yesterday.
About 3
Every
seconds
day
ago.
I cry all the time.
When was the last time you cried over a movie?
Watching
Over a
that
movie?
Rescue the other night.
Rescue.
Yeah.
What's the last movie I watched? I cried the other night. Yeah. I always cry
Yeah,
at
to a
films,
movie,
man. Yeah.
What one, like?
I can't remember. I watched so much fucking TV.
Right, Martin, he's giving me nothing. When was the last time you cried over
I
a
don't
movie?
really watch a lot of movies, but years
Watch
and years
that
ago,
documentary, Martin.
Armageddon
please.
got me years and years ago.
Armageddon?
Yep.
Well, what's yours?
I'll probably say a movie. What's that one? We Bought a Zoo or something.
What?
That's- Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, about a
What
fan.
is it?
Yeah,
I think it's called We Bought a Zoo.
fucking Matt Damon or something, is
Yeah.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was like, ooh. And I was watching it with Kelly, and I was like, oh.
That's
I
not
don't
even
know.
meant to be like sad,
No,
but it's just
But it plays on your
I'm
heartstrings.
gonna
Like,
watch that. What's it called?
I think it's We Bought a Zoo or something. it's
something
called.
like that.
Reminds me
Yeah.
of that bitch Carol Baskin. I cried at that when she won.
It's lions, not tigers in this one. Yeah. But no, there was a bit in it where it was like, I was trying to like Kelly not see me anyway, but I was just like,
Why did we do that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was
I
was
do
just
it as
like-
well, even with the kids.
But I think
I
there was
try
a
and
point
hold
in it
it
where I
in.
was just
Where
like,
yous need to come to my. I forgot to say about me cacao ceremony.
yeah, what?
Yous need to come to that.
What's that?
So I trained in. I'm a cacao facilitator as well. So we drink cacao. This is
What's cacao?
Cacao is plant medicine, and it comes from the jungle in Guatemala.
I like the sound of
it's-
this.
Yeah,
it's-
Martin's in.
Martin's camp. Give him
So-
3
Like
boxes.
DMT or something, is it?
Cacao, it's not a psychedelic,
Ah.
so you won't be bleeding, seeing anything. But it's a very, very spiritual plant. It's the cacao bean,
Like-
cocoa bean.
Yeah, chocolate.
But
Like.
the cacao that I work with is from the indigenous tribes in the Guatemala jungle, and it's sacred. So when we drink it in ceremony and we do the breath work with it, like it's a huge emotional release. So I started to drink that at the start of this year. Yeah, I ended up in a retreat somewhere on a plant medicine retreat, and it was
I've heard of this.
it was during the lockdown when you couldn't leave the 5K, and I was like, I have to get out of here. My mind is going. This is too much for me.
How many days did it go for? 3 days or something?
Yeah, two nights.
Did it involve a full moon?
No,
I was talking to a girl recently and she was telling me about this retreat she went on. She said it changed her whole life. Like,
yeah, there's loads of stuff going on. Like the world is changing.
yeah.
The world, the consciousness of the world is changing, and the cacao is just a medicine that it's a lot of healing, but it's raising your vibration as well. So when you are actively raising your vibration, like that's how you start to manifest and attract things into your life, you know. And it's magic.
See, I'm game for all that shit, but when people start banging bleeding drums and shit, and I
Not love a bit of shaman.
I just looked at, I think you need to be with
You have to be in
particular
the right,
people
yeah,
and
you have
all.
to be in the right environment for
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Like you can't, like we wouldn't be able to go because we just start breaking.
Oh,
into-
100% I'd go. I think
Individually, I
it'd be
think we'd be able to
Individually,
go.
Yeah,
of course,
this is what I'm
yeah.
saying, but together it just wouldn't work.
Well,
But I don't know,
Because you're
I
the biggest
think-
child.
I'd
out
give it a
loud.
bash. I'd give it a bash.
I think is it like my cacao ceremony because
And when is it?
I've had a few just before Christmas. So I'll organise more, obviously, going forward for this
Keep
year.
us in the loop on
But
that.
what
though.
I'm saying about is the crying is that all the lads that have come to it have all had huge emotional releases, and it's been amazing to see.
So is that why you like it? You just like getting these young lads, breaking
do
them.
you know
Like,
what? I actually do get messages like, all right, Jen, looking to get into a bit of yoga, but apparently you make everyone cry. I'm like, "Look,
Impression's
it's grand,
class."
it's grand."
Hey, if you make the average Joe so cry, we'd probably be in bits though. Do you know what I mean? I would be like a baby, I'd say.
you don't need a yoga mat. You just need to bring a towel and
Just
line
need
it.
to bring
Yeah.
a load of tissues, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't give him tissues.
But
He'll do
it's
something else.
it's amazing. Do you know what I mean? Everybody deserves to have that chance to
Course.
heal and to let go, you know? We
Yeah.
hold on to so much stuff.
Yeah,
Just whatever it is that you're doing, like
just touch on that one next. I just need
Which
to get
one?
this, yeah. The top one on the Instagram, I think. Yeah.
What's he doing?
Food.
Oh, the food is here. Oh, lovely.
yeah. Right. What kind of routine does Jen have? What time would she wake up, go to bed, her morning routine, and so on?
Ah, love a bit of Monday mindset. So this is actually what blew the page up. I developed this thing called the Monday mindset. So in all my years of therapy and working on myself, every time I put the pen down, my mind ends up in a mess and I end up back in counselling. I'm all over the place. And the first thing the therapist always says to me is, you put your pen down, Jen, didn't you? And I'm like, right, okay, I did. So when I get up in the morning, I get up about 7, I go in, I have my cup of tea, and straight away I just sit down and I have my notepad and I literally map out what I have to do for the day. Write down my to-do list, write down all my goals. My goals are usually really personal goals, like how am I going to treat people today? If there's something part of my personality that I'm trying to work on, like if I've been very judgmental the last few weeks, like I bring that into my goals, like don't be so judgmental. I do my affirmations, I do my gratitude, and then I always have a little pay it forward as well. So I bring that into my practice. Like I'm very mindful that somewhere along the day, or if you can, or through the week, just do something nice for someone else. So that's kind of my mindset. Like I have to have everything wrote down. If I don't have the stuff wrote down, my mind is just, it's a minefield. And nothing gets done. I get too overwhelmed. My anxiety's through the roof. And that's actually what blew up the page, is because when I was struggling with the lockdown, I was like, everyone else must be. And I just developed this little thing from everything I learned in counselling, everything I learned in 12 steps, and I just simplified it. And it's just a little, I developed this little notepad, and every Monday morning we were all on the live at 7 o'clock, like couple of hundred people. I think I felt like I was carrying the country on my back at one stage, and I was like, why is everyone else not telling us to do this?
Yeah.
And I think that's probably one of the things that I'd be kind of known for is the mindset stuff.
It's a powerful thing, the mindset stuff, because I know, like, I need that, like, whatever it is, my mindset. I'm that January person.
Yeah.
I'll start it.
Yeah.
I won't even get to
Yeah.
March.
No,
Do you know
I'm
what
a
I mean?
consistent
And
bastard.
I
Stop.
but that's the thing. I feel like I search for that consistency,
Yeah.
but this just doesn't allow me to have that.
Yeah.
You know. And I think one thing that, like, me and Martin said it, especially after the class today, you know, we done it today, right? Knowing that we have a podcast later on, and I think we just felt good, didn't we?
Yeah, as I was saying, like, it
We've
felt
a
like a great
podcast.
way to end one week and start the next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I think it sets you up for the Monday going to work.
Yeah.
You're in better spirits. You feel a bit loose or whatever. But also, I think it'll benefit us in the sense as well, coming to do a show that night or whatever.
Yeah.
Knowing we feel good about it
Yeah.
and stuff. And I think that's stemmed from you. I know it probably sounds like we're blowing smoke the whole episode, but we genuinely got that vibe from it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. Like, it's a testament to yourself and the things that you do. Like, you know, it just shows, and you're still continuously searching for the next thing to do to better, whether it's the yoga or, sorry, what did you say the new things that you're studying this year?
Coaching with neuroscience.
Neuroscience, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fucking brutal with all them bleeding science names and shit like that. But yeah, it just shows it's a testament to yourself, and fair play to you, and continue to do it, because obviously your mindset is going to get you there. It's going to
Yeah.
get you over the line. Even though you said you probably feel like you'll struggle with it this year or whatever, you'll get there. You know what I mean? So fair play to you. I just wanted to say that because I genuinely really enjoyed it today. So thank you.
Yeah, we had a good day.
was good.
Thank you. Look
We had a
at that.
great day.
Thank you.
Jay, get the food ready.
Are you getting burned from the lights, or are you just going red?
Bit about, bud. Bit about.
Anything else you want to cover there, Jay? Do we have everything covered, do you think? Or is there anything you want to touch on yourself, Jen?
I think we've done a lot.
I think, you know what, I genuinely think that there's a second episode in this somewhere. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We can do a recap on our cacao trip.
Yeah,
what?
Martin's just had to text me when I was downstairs saying, end the episode, I'm starving. So that's where this is coming from.
Did you?
No, I didn't.
I'm trying to just quickly scroll through to make sure that there's nothing we're missing for this particular episode, because like I said, we don't want to drain you mentally either, you know?
I like that. Yeah, like we didn't have to go too far
Yeah,
into like kind of dark stuff.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But we've had a great
Yeah.
conversation.
We went in and jumped out a little bit.
In
We
and out.
got our feet
Dip the
wet.
toe.
Yeah, we dipped the toe.
We got a few feelings out of you.
Yeah.
We get that every fucking week with this fella, don't we, Martin?
Oh,
An
stop.
open book, lads. What can I say? What page are we on?
Oh, Jesus, I wouldn't know. 4th chapter anyway.
Well, listen.
You're a trilogy, you're not a book.
I'm a series. Thanks for coming on,
We're a
Jen.
library.
Really appreciate it. Next time we see you on the beach, hopefully you're not as rude as you were the first time.
Oh, Scarlett.
Hopefully we get gifts like the Talking Bollocks lads did.
You've got yoga. She invested in you.
I'm only joking. Listen, Jen, everyone I've spoke to has said nothing but great things about you. Enjoyed the conversation today. Enjoyed the yoga today. We'll pop out on Sunday again. We might bring a guest or two with us as long as your class allows it. But yeah, thanks very much. Really enjoyed it.
It's been great. Yeah, thank you.